The door handle turned with a soft click. Tarek stepped inside like he was sneaking into his own life. The hallway light outside was weak, and the air smelled like wet dust. His travel bag bumped his knee as he walked. He was tired, but he also felt proud. In his head, he was already seeing it. Grandma rushing to hug him, Nia jumping and laughing, everyone saying, "You're back, we missed you." But the home was not loud. It was too quiet. Tarek froze. From the kitchen table came a tiny sound, clink, 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 like coins touching. Then a child's whisper, slow and careful, like she was reading a rule from a book. "2 coins for rice," Nia said softly. "1 coin for soap. And no more. No more. No more." A deeper voice answered her. Grandma Amara's voice, calm, strong, almost like a teacher. "That's right, my flower, we don't waste." "And not money, not water, not hope." Tariq's mouth went dry. He took 1 step forward. His shoe squeaked on the floor and both voices stopped. Then Grandma appeared in the doorway. She did not run. She did not gasp. She stood there with her shoulders straight, wearing a simple dress and a scarf tied neatly on her head. Her eyes looked at Tarek like they had been waiting, but not in a sweet way. Behind her, Nia peeked out. Nia's cheeks looked thinner. Her curls were tied back with a ribbon that was too old and stretched. She held a pencil in one hand and a small notebook in the other. Tarek tried to smile. "I'm home," he said, like that should fix everything. Nia didn't move. Grandma didn't move either. For a second, Tariq felt something strange in his chest. It wasn't anger. It wasn't pride. It was a sharp fear, like he was a kid again, and he had broken something precious. He cleared his throat. "Where's my hug?" Grandma's eyes stayed steady. "Come in first," she said. Her voice wasn't cold. It was worse. It was controlled. Tarek stepped farther in. His eyes adjusted to the dim room. Then he saw the candles. Not fancy candles. Candles in small jars lined up along the counter like soldiers. A few were burning, giving the room a warm, trembling light. Shadows moved on the walls like quiet ghosts. On the table were cups, not random cups, cups placed in a straight line, each one filled to the exact same level. And in the middle of the table, a plastic bottle. The same bottle Tarek had tossed on the counter weeks ago when he left. The one he had said was enough. It was washed clean. Yet it had lines drawn on the side with a dark marker, like someone had turned it into a measuring tool. Beside it sat a small cap, placed like a lid on a treasure chest. Tariq blinked hard. Why are there lines on that? Nia answered without looking up. "So we don't take too much," she said. "Grandma says water is life. If you waste life, you cry later." Tarek laughed once, but the laugh fell flat. Okay. You two are being dramatic." Grandma walked to the table and picked up the bottle with care. She held it like it mattered. "This bottle," she said softly, "is what you left us with." Tarek shrugged. "I left money too." Grandma turned the bottle a little. The marker lines faced him. Each line had a tiny date written beside it. Tariq's eyes narrowed. Dates. Not 1 or 2. Many. He felt the proud part of him shrink. "What is that?" Grandma placed the bottle down. The plastic made a dull thunk on the table, louder than it should have been. Then she slid something toward him. A notebook. Not Nia's notebook. A different one. Bigger, thick, used. The cover had a stain on the corner like a spilled drop of tea. Tariq didn't touch it right away. His fingers hovered over it like it might bite. "What is this?" he asked. Grandma said, "Open it." Nia watched him. Her eyes were very big but not playful. They were careful, like she was watching a test. Tariq opened the notebook slowly. The first page had neat writing in Grandma's hand. $50. Summer under it. Lines and numbers. Rice, lentils, bread, soap, matches, medicine. Then another section. Water, measured. He flipped the page. More dates, more numbers. Little notes written in the margin. Hot day. Nia thirsty. Gave extra sip. Water stopped. Borrowed a bucket from Mrs. Kemi. Paid back with sugar. Tariq swallowed. He wanted to say something smart, something strong, something that made him look like he had a plan, but the words wouldn't come. He flipped again. On another page, there were tiny drawings. Nia's drawings, a stick figure grandma holding a small girl's hand, a sun above them. Under it, a bottle with lines. On the next drawing, the sun was bigger. The bottle was almost empty. The grandma figure was still holding the girl's hand. And then another drawing. A door. A man outside with sunglasses and a speech bubble that said, Dubai. Tariq's hand shook. He closed the notebook quickly like he didn't want to see his own name written inside it. This is not fair, he said. You're making it sound like I left you to die. Grandma didn't raise her voice. She didn't even frown. She just walked to the corner of the room. Tariq hadn't looked there yet because he didn't expect anything new. But now he saw it. A small corner had been cleared. A cloth was spread on a chair. On it were tiny paper bags, neatly folded. Each bag had something inside. Rice, a bar of soap, maybe tea leaves, little things. And taped above it was a plain paper sign, written in Grandma's careful handwriting. $50 kept us alive. Tariq's throat tightened so fast it hurt. What is that? He whispered. Nia answered. It's for people who need, she said. Some people in the building didn't have food either. Grandma said if we only think of ourselves, our hearts become small. As she said, small hearts break easy. Tariq stared like the corner had turned into a stranger. Grandma, he started. He wanted to sound mad, he wanted to sound in charge, but his voice cracked. Grandma walked back and stood close enough that Tariq could see the tiny lines on her face, the tired lines that hadn't been there before. We didn't just count money. Grandma said quietly. We counted days, we counted sips, we counted prayers. Tariq blinked fast, his eyes burned. He felt something rise in him that he didn't want, something heavy and ugly, guilt. He tried to push it away. I was in Dubai. I was working things out. Grandma nodded once, like she heard him, but didn't believe him. Then she reached under the table and pulled out a small envelope. It was sealed. On the front, written clearly, for Tariq. Open when you're ready to be a father. Tariq's breath caught. He stared at the envelope like it was a verdict. He looked at Grandma. He looked at Nia. Nia held her notebook against her chest. Her small fingers squeezed it tight. Tariq's lips parted, but no sound came out. Grandma placed the envelope in front of him and said, very gently, "You came back tonight, thinking you would see the same home you left." She tapped the table near the bottle. "But you didn't." Tarek reached for the envelope. His fingertips touched the paper. And in that exact moment, he heard something outside the door. A slow knock. Not friendly, not light. A knock that sounded like trouble had finally arrived. Grandma's eyes lifted to the door. Nia's face went pale. And Tariq, holding that sealed envelope, felt his whole body turn cold. 1 week before Tariq left, Grandma Amara noticed he was acting strange. He paced the living room with his phone pressed to his ear. He laughed too loudly, then went quiet too fast. When Grandma asked, "Who are you talking to?" he would say, "Business," and walk into the hallway like the walls might be listening. Nia sat on the floor, colouring. She drew a tall building with shiny windows. "Dubai," she said happily, because she had heard the word many times. Grandma did not smile. She watched Tariq's face instead. That evening, Tariq came in smelling like strong cologne. He threw his keys on the table like he owned the air. "I'm going to Dubai," he announced. Nia jumped up. "Really? Like the big towers?" Tariq grinned. "Yes, summer vacation. I deserve it." Grandma folded her arms. Her voice stayed calm. Vacation is for people who have finished their duties. Have you finished yours?" Tariq's grin tightened. "Ma, don't start." Grandma pointed to Nia. "Your daughter needs food every day, water every day, a safe home every day." Tariq waved his hand like he was brushing dust off a shelf. "You worry too much. I'm only going for a little while." "How long is a little while?" Grandma asked. Tariq looked away. "A few weeks." Grandma's eyes sharpened. "Say the number." Tariq sighed, annoyed. "Okay, 2 months. Maybe." Grandma's jaw became hard. 2 months is not a few weeks. Nia's smile faded. She walked closer to Grandma without thinking, like her feet knew where safety lived. Tariq noticed and frowned. "Why are you acting like I'm leaving her with strangers? She'll be with you." Grandma nodded. "Yes, she will. And I will do my best. But your best is missing from this plan." Tariq pulled out his wallet. He took out 2 crisp bills and some smaller notes. He placed them on the table like he was showing a magic trick. "Here," he said, $50. Grandma stared at the money. Tariq kept talking fast like speed could cover truth. "You can stretch it. You always do. You're smart. I'm going to make connections. Maybe I'll even find work there. When I come back, things will change." Grandma picked up the money slowly. She didn't smile. "This is not support," she said. "This is an insult wearing a friendly face." Tariq's cheeks reddened. "Excuse me?" Grandma's voice stayed steady. "Food costs money. Water costs money. Lights cost money. This child costs money. You know this." Tariq leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Yeah. And don't embarrass me in front of my daughter." Grandma looked at him, unshaken. "Then don't embarrass yourself as her father." Nia's eyes moved between them, like she was watching a storm. Tariq grabbed a bottle from the counter, the one he had been drinking from. He pushed it toward Grandma like it was a gift. "And here, water, so no one can say I left you with nothing." Grandma stared at the bottle. It wasn't full. It was half full. Nia reached for it, then stopped when Grandma gently touched her wrist. Tariq looked proud again, as if he had won. Grandma did not yell. She did not cry. She only said, "May your eyes open before your feet return." Tariq made a face. "There you go with your old sayings." "They are old," Grandma replied, "because they are true." The next morning, Tariq packed quickly. He didn't fold his clothes neatly. He stuffed them. He checked his phone every few minutes and smiled at messages he didn't share. Nia followed him around with her little backpack on. "Can I come?" she asked, hopeful. Tariq laughed. "Dubai is not for kids. Be good for Grandma." Nia's shoulders dropped. "Will you call?" "Of course," he said. He said it too easily, like a promise was a feather. Grandma watched from the doorway as Tariq zipped his suitcase. She noticed he did not pack any medicine for Nia. No snacks. No extra money. Just in case. He was packing like a man going to a party, not like a father leaving his child behind. Mrs. Kemi, the neighbour across the hall, stepped outside at the same time. She wore a head wrap and held a small bag of trash. Her eyes landed on Tariq's suitcase. "Oh," Mrs. Kemi said, dragging the sound out. "So it is true, Dubai." Tariq lifted his chin. "Yes, big plans." Mrs. Kemi smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. She glanced at Grandma. "He told you then?" Grandma nodded politely. "He told me." Mrs. Kemi leaned closer, voice low. Some people in this building are waiting for his calls too. He has, how to say, borrowed smiles and borrowed money." Tariq snapped. "Mind your business." Mrs. Kemi lifted her hands. "I am only saying what everyone whispers." Grandma did not argue with Mrs. Kemi. She only listened. Tariq rolled his suitcase to the stairs because the elevator was broken again. He didn't look back until he reached the landing. Nia stood beside Grandma, small and quiet. Tariq forced a bright smile. "I'll be back before you know it," he said. Nia raised her hand for a wave. Bring me a tiny tower," she said, trying to sound happy again. Tariq chuckled. "Sure, a tiny tower." Then he was gone. The hallway felt colder after his footsteps faded. Nia waited a few seconds, still staring at the stairs. Then she whispered, "Grandma, is $50 a lot?" Grandma knelt down so their faces were level. "It can be a lot," Grandma said gently, "if you are only buying sweets." Nia swallowed. "But for food?" Grandma took a slow breath. She did not lie. She also did not scare Nia more than needed. "It is small," Grandma admitted, "but we are not small." Nia looked down at the half-full bottle on the counter. "And the water?" Grandma picked it up and held it carefully. "This water is not just water," she said. "It is a lesson." Nia frowned. "A lesson about what?" Grandma stood, her back straight again. "Or a lesson about planning, a lesson about sharing, and a lesson about promises." That same day, Grandma opened the cupboard. She counted what they had. A little rice, a few lentils, some salt, and tea bags. Not much else. Then she opened her old drawer and pulled out a clean notebook. On the first page, she wrote in neat letters, "Summer." Under it, she wrote one number, 50. Then she looked at Nia and said, "We will not panic." Nia nodded, trying to be brave. Grandma placed the bottle beside the notebook and said, "We will measure. We will save. We will stay strong." And for the first time since Tarek left, Nia's face relaxed a little because Grandma's calm voice made the room feel safer. Not easy, but safer. Grandma Amara woke up before the sun. The room was still dark and the air felt heavy, like it was holding its breath. She listened for a moment. No dripping tap, no humming fridge, just the soft sound of Nia breathing on the mattress beside her. Grandma sat up slowly and reached for the bottle. Half full. She held it to the window. The weak morning light showed the marker lines she had drawn the night before. "Today," she whispered, "we start the rules." Nia opened her eyes. "Is it morning already?" Grandma smiled a small smile. "Yes, my flower, and we will win the morning." Nia rubbed her eyes. "How do we win it?" "By not wasting," Grandma said, placing the bottle on the table. "Not food, not water, not courage." She poured water into 2 cups, only to the first line. The cups looked almost empty, but Grandma placed them in front of Nia like they were gold. Nia stared. "That's it?" Grandma nodded. "Sip slow. Let it touch your tongue, not rush past it." Nia did as she was told. Her eyes widened a little. "It feels better," she said, surprised. "That is because you are being calm," Grandma replied. "Panic drinks more than the mouth." After water, Grandma made breakfast. Not a big breakfast, just thin porridge. She used only a small handful of rice, stirring it in a pot with slow circles. The smell was warm, but the bowl stayed light. Nia sat very straight while she ate, like she was afraid to spill even one grain. "Grandma," she asked quietly, "when will Daddy send money?" Grandma didn't answer too fast. She took her time like she was choosing safe stones to step on. "Soon," she said, "or not soon, but we will not wait with empty hands." Nia looked down. "I miss him." "I know," Grandma said softly. "Missing is normal. But we still have work to do." After breakfast, Grandma opened her notebook and wrote, "Rice, small portion water, line 1 soap, must last." Then she took Nia's hand. "We will go to Uncle Sefu's shop." The stairs were hotter than usual. The elevator was still broken. Each step made Nia's breathing louder. When they reached the ground floor, Mrs. Kemi stood near the mailboxes, fanning herself with a piece of paper. "Morning, Amara," she called. Her voice was friendly, but her eyes were sharp. "Morning," Grandma replied. Mrs. Kemi looked at Nia, then at the bottle in Grandma's bag. "Ah, measuring already." Grandma kept walking. "We measure what matters." Mrs. Kemi followed a few steps, lowering her voice. "Your son is enjoying, you know. Big life, big smiles." Grandma stopped. "Do you know that or do you guess that, Mrs.?" Kemi's lips pressed together. "People talk. People also lie," Grandma said. Mrs. Kemi lifted her hands. "I am not your enemy. I am only warning you. Some people here are angry. Tariq borrowed from them." Grandma's heart thumped once hard. She didn't show it on her face. "How much?" Grandma asked. Mrs. Kemi shook her head. "I don't know, but I know one thing. When money is missing, Blame looks for a place to sit. Be careful, Amara. Grandma nodded once, then walked away with Nia. Outside, the street was already loud. Motorbikes passed. A vendor shouted about fruit. The sun climbed higher like it had somewhere important to be. Uncle Sefu's shop was small, squeezed between a phone repair stall and a bakery. The shop smelled like rice sacks and spice. Uncle Sefu looked up and smiled. Amara and little Nia, come. Here, come. Nia waved politely. Good morning, Grandma spoke softly. Uncle Sefu, I need small things. Very small. Uncle Sefu's smile faded just a little. He studied Grandma's face like he was reading it. You are carrying the summer alone, he said. Grandma didn't deny it. I will pay. Just not today. Uncle Sefu nodded. Take what you need. Pay when you can. God sees. Grandma chose carefully. A small bag of rice, lentils, a tiny soap, and matches. When Uncle Sefu placed them on the counter, Nia's eyes shined. It looked like treasure. But on the way out, Grandma heard a voice behind her. Amara. She turned. Mr. Hassan, the landlord, stood near the bakery door. Clean shirt, shiny shoes, smiling like he was greeting a friend. But Grandma didn't feel friendship in that smile. Good morning, Mr. Hassan said. I was looking for you. Grandma held Nia's hand tighter. Here I am. Mr. Hassan's eyes flicked to the groceries. Shopping? That means you can pay rent. Grandma's voice stayed calm. Food is not rent. Food is survival. Mr. Hassan chuckled. Survival is expensive in this building. The rent is due. Grandma nodded. I know. Mr. Hassan leaned in a little. I also know Tariq is gone. I also know you are alone with a child. Grandma didn't flinch. I am not alone. I have my mind. Mr. Hassan's smile stretched wider. Mine does not pay bills. He pulled a folded paper from his pocket and tapped it with his finger. This is a reminder. If the rent is late again, there will be consequences. Nia looked up at Grandma, frightened. Grandma? What does that mean? Grandma kept her eyes on Mr. Hassan. It means he wants to scare us. Mr. Hassan laughed. No, it means rules. Grandma took the paper and folded it neatly, like she was folding a napkin, not a threat. I will speak to my son, she said. Mr. Hassan lifted his shoulders. Speak to the moon if you want. I want money. Then he walked away, still smiling. Nia's breathing became quick. Are we going to lose our home? Grandma knelt beside her right there on the sidewalk. She put both hands on Nia's shoulders. Listen to me. You will not be thrown into fear while I am still standing. Nia's eyes filled. But Daddy, Grandma interrupted gently. Daddy is far. Grandma is here. They returned home slowly. The grocery bag felt heavier, not because of the rice, but because of the paper in Grandma's pocket. Back inside, Grandma placed the food away like it was a secret. And then she opened her notebook and wrote again, slower this time. Rent reminder. Today landlord pressure, growing neighbours angry. Tariq borrowed. Nia watched her. Why are you writing everything? Grandma looked at her and spoke in a quiet, steady voice. Because when people try to twist the truth, written truth stands straight. That afternoon the heat grew worse, and the water still did not run. Nia licked her lips. Can I have more? Grandma looked at the bottle. Only a little left above today's line. Her chest tightened, but she did not show panic. She poured exactly one extra sip into Nia's cup. "One sip," she said. "And we make it last." Nia held the cup with both hands, as if it might fly away. After Nia drank, Grandma wiped her mouth with her thumb and smiled. "See," Grandma said, "we are still here." Nia nodded, but her eyes drifted to the door, like she expected Tariq to walk in and fix everything. Grandma stood up, walked to the door, and slid the rent paper into a drawer. Then she took the marker and drew a new line on the bottle, not for water, for time. "This," she whispered to herself, "is the line between excuses and responsibility." That night, Grandma lit one candle in a jar. The soft light filled the room. Nia curled beside her with crayons and began to draw again. Grandma listened to the building sounds, footsteps, distant arguments, doors opening and closing. Somewhere above them, someone laughed. Somewhere below, someone coughed. Grandma opened the notebook and closed it again. Tomorrow would bring more problems. But tonight, Grandma decided on one thing. They would not beg, they would not break, and they would endure, carefully, clearly, and together. The next morning, Grandma Amara heard a sound that made her sit up fast. Water. A thin, weak trickle came from the tap, like the building was giving them a tiny gift. "Quick," Grandma whispered. "Bring the bucket." Nia jumped up and ran to the corner. She carried the bucket with both hands, wobbling a little. Grandma helped her set it under the tap. The water was not clear at first. It sputtered and coughed like it was tired. Grandma let the first bit run out, then slid the bucket back in place. "Will it stop again?" Nia asked. "Yes," Grandma said. "So we don't waste this moment." They filled one bucket, then another pot. Grandma moved like a person doing a careful dance. Steady, quick, no panic. After they stored the water, Grandma sat at the table and drew fresh lines on the bottle. Nia watched closely. "Why do we still measure if we have buckets now?" Nia asked. "Because buckets can empty fast," Grandma replied, "and the building can change its mind." Nia frowned. "Buildings don't have minds." Grandma gave a small smile. "The people in charge do." Later that day, Grandma walked down the hallway with Nia beside her. She wanted to check something she had been noticing. Some doors had small, wet footprints outside them. Some didn't, and on the third floor, the hallway smelled like fresh laundry. Grandma stopped near a door where she often heard loud music. She could hear a washing machine spinning inside. Nia whispered, "How can they wash clothes when our tap is dry sometimes?" Grandma didn't answer right away. She walked slowly, watching, listening. Bay. At the end of the corridor, she saw two thin pipes running along the wall. One had a new metal clamp that looked shiny compared to everything else. Grandma's eyes narrowed. She had lived long enough to know when something was new, in a place that never gets fixed. She touched the pipe lightly. It felt cooler than the other one. Nia leaned in. "Is that important?" Grandma nodded. "Very." That evening, Grandma knocked on Mrs. Kemi's door. Mrs. Kemi opened it halfway, her face already full of questions. "Amara, what is it?" Grandma spoke politely. "May I ask you something, sister?" Mrs. Kemi opened the door wider. "Come in." Inside, Mrs. Kemi's living room looked brighter than Grandma's. A small fan hummed. A cup of water sat on the table like it was normal. Grandma sat down carefully. Nia stayed close to her. Grandma asked, "Do you get water every day?" Mrs. Kemi hesitated. Then she sighed. "Yes." Nia's eyes widened. "Every day?" Mrs. Kemi gave a small nod. "Not all day, but enough." Grandma's voice stayed calm, but her words came sharp. "How?" Mrs. Kemi looked away. "It's a thing." Grandma leaned forward a little. "What kind of thing?" Mrs. Kemi's lips tightened. "A payment. A service fee." Nia blinked. "Like buying water?" Mrs. Kemi swallowed. "Not buying. It's like paying to be on the good list." Grandma's stomach turned. She kept her face steady for Nia. "Who collects it?" Grandma asked. Mrs. Kemi lowered her voice. "People say it's Mr. Hassan, but he doesn't take it directly. He has someone, a helper. He calls it building support." Grandma nodded slowly, writing the words in her mind. Mrs. Kemi looked at Grandma with a worried expression. "Amara, don't start trouble. Trouble is loud and it spreads." Grandma answered softly. "Truth spreads too." On the way home, Nia held Grandma's hand tightly. "Grandma, is Mr. Hassan stealing water?" Grandma squeezed Nia's hand. "I don't know yet, but I know something is wrong." That night, Grandma listened as the building settled into sleep. Doors clicked shut. Footsteps faded. Somewhere, someone argued in a low voice. Then Grandma heard something else. A soft shuffle near the stairwell. She moved to the peephole quietly. She didn't open the door. She just watched. Two shadows were down the hall. One carried a small flashlight. The other carried what looked like a tool bag. They stopped near the wall where Grandma had seen the shiny clamp. Nia whispered from behind her. "What are they doing?" Grandma whispered back. "Watching the pipes." The shadows worked quickly. The flashlight blinked on and off. One of them looked around like he was afraid of being seen. Grandma's heart beat hard, but her hands stayed steady. She backed away from the door and went to the table. She opened her notebook and wrote the date. She wrote, "Late night, 2 men, tool bag, pipe wall, flashlight." Nia stood on her toes to see. "Are we in danger?" Grandma turned and held Nia's face gently in her hands. "Not tonight," she said. "Tonight, we are smart." The next day, Grandma went downstairs during the afternoon when Officer Lena sometimes came through the area to check on the neighborhood. Officer Lena stood near the entrance talking to a few people. She wasn't shouting or acting important. She simply listened, like she had time. Grandma waited her turn, then stepped forward. "Officer Lena," Grandma said. Officer Lena smiled warmly. "Hello, Mom, how are you doing?" Grandma chose her words carefully. "I'm noticing water problems in the building. I'm also noticing some people have water more often than others. I don't want to accuse anyone without facts, but I'm keeping records." Officer Lena's face grew serious. "Records are good," she said. "Dates, times, what you saw, who you spoke to. If there's unfairness or illegal changes to plumbing, that matters." Grandma nodded. "I have dates." Officer Lena glanced at Nia. "And how are you holding up, sweetie?" Nia straightened. "Grandma says we don't waste," she said proudly. "We measure." Officer Lena's eyes softened. "That's a strong lesson." As Grandma and Nia walked back upstairs, had Nia asked, "Is it okay to tell the officer?" "It's okay to ask for help," Grandma said. "But we do it the right way, with facts, with calm." At home, Grandma opened the cupboard and counted again. Not much had changed, but her heart felt different, because now she understood something important. They weren't just dealing with hunger. They were dealing with a system that wanted quiet people to stay quiet. Grandma placed the notebook beside the bottle and said to Nia, "We will keep doing our part. We will stay kind, and we will stay awake." Nia nodded slowly, like when you don't sleep in class. Grandma chuckled once, the first real chuckle in days. "Yes," she said, "exactly like that." Then Grandma lit a candle and began sorting what little they had, making small piles, thinking not only of tomorrow's meal, but of tomorrow's truth. 3 days passed with no call from Tariq. Not one. Grandma Amara did not complain out loud. She simply watched the phone the way you watch a pot that might boil over. Quietly, but ready. Nia tried not to ask too much, but her eyes asked anyway. That morning, Grandma boiled lentils with extra water to make them fill the bowl. The smell was good, but the portion was small. Nia ate slowly, then whispered, "Maybe Daddy is busy." Grandma nodded. "Maybe." Nia's spoon stopped. "Maybe he forgot?" Grandma's hand paused in the air for a moment, then she set her spoon down gently. "If someone forgets your hunger," she said, "they are not hungry enough with you." Nia didn't fully understand, but she felt the sadness under Grandma's words. Later, the phone finally buzzed. Nia jumped so fast the chair scraped the floor. "It's him!" Grandma picked up the phone calmly, but her thumb trembled just a little. A voice message. Tariq's voice came through bright and loud, with music somewhere behind him. "Ma, I'm good. Dubai is crazy, you hear me? Tall buildings, bright lights, everything shining. Don't worry, okay? I'm handling things. I'll send money soon. Just relax." Relax. Grandma listened twice, not because she missed his voice, but because she wanted to catch what he did not say. He did not ask, "Did you eat?" He did not ask, "Do you have water?" He did not ask, "How is my daughter?" Nia leaned close to Grandma. "He sounds happy." Grandma didn't answer right away. She pressed the button and recorded a short reply. "Tariq," she said calmly, "Nia needs food and water. The rent is due. Tell me the date you will send help, not soon." A date. She sent it. Then they waited. At noon, Mrs. Kemi knocked on Grandma's door. Knock, 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 fast like gossip in a hurry. Grandma opened it only halfway. Mrs. Kemi leaned in, eyes wide. "Amara, have you seen it?" "Seen what?" Grandma asked. Mrs. Kemi pulled out her phone and shoved the screen forward. There was Tariq. He stood in front of a huge glass building, smiling with sunglasses on. In his hand was a cold drink with foam on top. Behind him were lights and signs and shiny things. Under the picture, Tariq had written, "Living my best life." Nia's mouth fell open. "Daddy!" Grandma stared at the screen. Her face did not change, but something inside her tightened like a knot being pulled. Mrs. Kemi whispered, "People are talking, and they are saying, he is spending while you struggle. Grandma handed the phone back politely. People talk when they don't know what to do with anger. Mrs. Kemi frowned. And some people have reason to be angry. Say it, Grandma said. Mrs. Kemi lowered her voice. 2 men came looking for him yesterday. They said Tariq promised to pay them back before he travelled. They said he told them you would cover it if he couldn't. Grandma felt heat rise into her cheeks. He said that? Mrs. Kemi nodded. They said your mother has savings. Grandma's heart thumped once hard. She did not have savings. She had lines on a bottle. She had rice measured by handfuls, but now, because of Tariq's mouth, other people believed she was hiding money. Grandma inhaled slowly. What were their names? Mrs. Kemi blinked. Why? So I can write it, Grandma said. Mrs. Kemi hesitated, then said, one is called Bashi, the other is called Rudo. Grandma repeated the names carefully and wrote them in her notebook with today's date. Nia tugged Grandma's sleeve. Grandma, are those men bad? Grandma knelt and smoothed Nia's hair. They are not ghosts, she said softly. They are people who feel cheated. People can become scary when they feel cheated. Nia swallowed. Will they take our home? Grandma stood up straight. No one takes what is right without a fight, she said. But we fight with sense, not with shouting. That afternoon the water stopped again. Grandma heard the dry cough of the tap and felt her shoulders want to drop. Instead, she went to the stored bucket and measured out what they needed, cup by cup. Nia watched her. Oh, can I have more today? It's hot. Grandma looked at Nia's lips, dry at the edges. Her chest tightened. She poured 1 extra sip and handed it over. 1 extra, she said. And we make it count. Nia sipped slowly like Grandma taught her. Then she whispered, I wish Daddy could see this. Grandma's eyes flicked to the notebook. Oh, she said quietly, he will. In the evening, Uncle Sefu came by the building with a small bag. He didn't knock loudly. He tapped softly, respectful. Grandma opened the door and saw him holding 2 small soap bars and a bag of rice. I had extra, Uncle Sefu said. Someone paid an old debt. I thought of you. Grandma's eyes softened. Thank you. Uncle Sefu glanced past her shoulder, seeing the candle jar. Still hard days? Grandma nodded. Hard, yes, but not hopeless. Uncle Sefu leaned closer and spoke low. People are murmuring. They say your son took money. Be careful. Some mouths bite. Grandma nodded again. I am being careful. After he left, Grandma stared at the small bag in her hands. It wasn't just rice. It was proof that kindness could travel through a building faster than fear, if someone started it. She made a choice. She took a cloth and cleared 1 small corner of the room. She placed a few items there. A little rice from Uncle Sefu's bag, 1 soap bar and 2 tea bags. Nia watched. Is that for us? Not only for us, Grandma said. She wrote a note in simple letters. Take if you need, leave if you can. Nia's eyes widened. But we need. Grandma nodded. Yes, and so do others. If we share a little, we make friends bigger than our fear. Nia thought hard, and then ran to her crayons. She drew a smiling sun and taped it above the note. That night, Grandma checked her phone again. No reply from Tariq. But Grandma did not feel powerless. She opened her notebook and wrote 1 new line. Tarek is not the only one who can make choices. Then she closed the book, blew out the candle and lay down beside Nia. "Grandma," Nia whispered in the dark, "are we going to be okay?" Grandma answered with a steady voice that did not shake. "Yes," she said, "because we are awake." The next morning, Grandma Amara cleaned the home like she was preparing for an important guest, not because she wanted to impress Tariq, because when a home is clean, the mind can think better. She swept the floor slowly. She wiped the table twice. She washed the cups and lined them up again, the way she always did now, straight, equal, calm. Nia watched from the mattress. "Are we having visitors?" Grandma nodded. "Yes. The truth is visiting soon." Nia blinked. "Truth can visit?" Grandma smiled gently. "Truth always visits. Sometimes it knocks. Sometimes it kicks the door. But it comes." Nia sat up and hugged her notebook. "Is Daddy coming soon?" Grandma didn't say yes or no. She said, "We will be ready whenever he does." After breakfast, Grandma opened her big notebook and turned the pages carefully. She didn't rush. She didn't flip like she was angry. She organized. First, she placed small sticky notes on the pages that mattered most. One note said, money. Another said, water. Another said, rent. Another said, promises. Nia leaned over the table. Why are you making it like a school book?" Grandma tapped the notebook lightly. "Because people pretend they forget things when there is no proof. We will help the truth stand up straight." Then Grandma took out a second paper, clean, unwrinkled, and began writing a letter. Nia watched the pen move. "What are you writing?" "A message," Grandma said. "Not a fight." Nia looked confused. "But Daddy did something wrong." Grandma nodded. "Yes, but if I only shout, he will cover his ears. I want him to listen, not run." Grandma wrote slowly, like each word had weight. Nia didn't read it. Grandma didn't show it to her yet. She only folded it when she was done and slid it into a plain envelope. On the front, she wrote in clear letters, "For Tariq, open when you're ready to be a father." Nia's eyes went wide. That's the envelope," Grandma nodded. "Yes, but it stays closed until the right moment." Nia touched the edge of it with one finger. "What if he opens it and gets mad?" Grandma placed her hand over Nia's finger. If he gets mad at truth, then he was already holding anger inside. That afternoon, Grandma made a choice that was hard. She went door to door, not to beg, to speak. She started with Mrs. Kemi. Mrs. Kemi opened her door and frowned. "Amara, you should rest. Your face looks tired." Grandma nodded. "I am tired, but I can still stand." Mrs. Kemi folded her arms. "What do you want?" Grandma spoke calmly. "You said people are angry because Tariq borrowed money. I want to hear from them directly, not through whispers." Mrs. Kemi looked surprised. "You want to talk to them?" "Yes," Grandma said. "If someone is hurt, I will not hide, but I also will not carry blame that is not mine." Mrs. Kemi hesitated, then sighed. "Okay, I will tell them you are willing to talk." Later, 2 neighbours came. Bashi first, tall, tense, eyes hard like stones. Rudo second, quiet, but with a tight mouth that showed she had been holding anger for weeks. Grandma invited them to sit. Nia sat beside Grandma, silent, listening. Bashi spoke first. Your son promised he'd pay before leaving. Rudo added, he said if he didn't, you would handle it. Grandma nodded slowly. He said that without my permission, Bashi scoffed. So you're saying you won't pay? Grandma looked Bashi in the eyes. I am saying the truth. I have no savings. He left me and his child with $50 and 1 bottle of water. Rudo's eyes flickered unsure. Grandma opened her notebook and showed them 1 page, only 1. The page had dates and amounts. It had the rent reminder. It had food costs. It had water notes. Bashi's face changed a little. His anger didn't vanish, but it moved. Rudo swallowed. You really measured water? Nia spoke softly for the first time. Grandma drew lines on the bottle, she said. We counted sips. Silence filled the room. Bashi rubbed his forehead. Then your son is worse than I thought. Grandma's voice stayed steady. He is careless, she said. But careless people can change when the truth hits them hard enough. Rudo looked down. So what now? Grandma closed the notebook. Now we do 2 things. We push for fairness in this building, and we stop fighting each other. Bashi frowned. How? Grandma pointed toward the small help corner. We share what we can, and we keep records. No more secret fees, no more fear. Bashi looked at the corner, then back at Grandma. You're brave. Grandma answered simply. I'm responsible. After they left, Nia whispered, Grandma, are they still mad? Maybe, Grandma said, but now their anger has the right address. That evening, Officer Lena came by the building again, as she sometimes did. Grandma met her near the entrance and spoke quietly away from crowds. I have notes, Grandma said, tapping her notebook, about the water patterns, about the pipes, about the people paying extra. Officer Lena nodded. Good. Keep it safe. Don't confront anyone alone if you feel threatened. If you can, get more neighbours to speak together. Grandma nodded. They are starting to. Officer Lena glanced at Nia. How are you holding up? Nia lifted her chin. We're okay, she said. We measure. Officer Lena gave a small smile. That's strong. Back upstairs, Grandma set the home the way she wanted it. The bottle with lines stood on the table. The notebook was placed beside it. The help corner was neat. The sealed envelope rested in the middle, like a quiet stone that could not be ignored. Nia stared at the door. Do you think Daddy will be different when he comes back? Grandma sat down and pulled Nia close. I don't know, she admitted, but I do know this. When he walks through that door, he will not meet silence. He will meet reality. Nia rested her head on Grandma's arm. Grandma looked at the candle flame and whispered, not in anger, but in promise, whatever he brings back from Dubai, he will also carry back what he left behind. The knock came again, slow, heavy, like someone was not asking. Grandma Amara didn't rush to the door. She stood still and listened first. In this building, rushing was how people got tricked. Nia grabbed Grandma's sleeve. Who is it? Grandma placed a finger to her lips. Quiet, my flower. Then a voice came through the door, low, unsure, and familiar. Ma, it's me, Tariq. Grandma opened the door only a little. Tariq stood there with a travel bag on one shoulder. His shirt was wrinkled. His eyes looked tired. He tried to smile, but the smile didn't sit right, like it didn't belong on his face anymore. "I'm home," he said again, softer this time. Nia appeared behind Grandma's hip. She didn't run forward. She didn't jump. She just stared at Tariq like she was checking if he was real. Tariq's smile got wider, trying too hard. "Nia, come!" Nia didn't move. Grandma stepped back and opened the door fully. "Come in," she said. "Then we talk." Tariq walked in and looked around, expecting something. Maybe he expected Grandma to hug him and tell him she forgave everything. Maybe he expected Nia to shout his name, like he was a hero. Instead, the home greeted him with quiet light. Candles in jars, a clean table, cups lined up in a straight row. Then Tariq saw it. The bottle. His own bottle. Not thrown away. Not forgotten. Washed clean. Marked with dark lines and dates. Tariq blinked. "Why did you—" He stopped because he saw the notebook beside it, and he saw the corner, the little help spot, small paper bags, a note taped above them. And in the center of the table, the sealed envelope. For Tariq. Open. When you're ready to be a father. Tariq's throat moved like he swallowed a stone. "What is all this?" Grandma didn't answer with anger. She answered with calm. "Sit." Tariq sat slowly. Nia sat beside Grandma, still not touching Tariq. Tariq forced a laugh. "Ma, you're being dramatic. I'm back now. Everything's fine." Grandma looked at him, steady. "Fine is a word people use when they don't want to explain." She slid the notebook toward him. Tariq stared at it like it was a trap. "What is that?" Grandma said. "Open it." Tariq hesitated, then opened the notebook. The first page showed the big number written at the top, 50. Below it were lists, dates, prices, notes. Tariq's face tightened. "Why are you writing down groceries?" Grandma pointed to a line. Read that one," Tariq read out loud without meaning to. "Hot day, near thirsty, gave extra sip." His voice got smaller. Grandma turned the page for him. Water stopped. Borrowed bucket. Tariq's eyes flickered. He tried to close the book, but Grandma held it open with 2 fingers. "Keep reading," she said. Tariq swallowed and flipped again. Rent reminder. Landlord pressure. Paid soap late. Shared rice with neighbour. Tariq frowned. Shared. Nia spoke, quiet but clear. Grandma said some people were hungry too. Tariq looked at the help corner again. "You gave people food. When you had almost nothing." Grandma nodded. "Yes," Tariq scoffed, trying to build his pride back up. "That was foolish." Grandma's eyes sharpened. "No, it was leadership." That word hit Tariq harder than a slap. He sat back, confused. Leadership? Grandma turned the notebook to another page, one with names and amounts. Bashi, Rudo, others. Tariq's mouth opened slightly. Grandma said, "These are the people you borrowed from. These are the ones you told lies to." Tariq's voice became sharp. "I didn't lie." Grandma's tone did not change. "You told them I had savings." Tariq looked away. Grandma continued, steady as a drum. "You made them look at me like I was hiding money. You made them angry at the wrong person." Tariq's jaw worked. He tried to speak, but no words came out. Grandma leaned forward. While you were posing in bright places, this child counted sips of water. Tariq's eyes flicked to Nia. Nia was holding her small notebook to her chest. Her face was quiet, but her eyes looked older than a child's eyes should. Tariq's voice cracked. Nia, why didn't you call me? Nia answered softly. Grandma called you. Tariq flinched. Grandma tapped the bottle gently. This is what your support looked like. Tariq stared at the lines and dates on the bottle. His face changed. The proud part of him started to melt, like wax near a flame. His breathing became uneven. He whispered, You really measured water. Grandma nodded. Yes. He shook his head slowly, like he didn't want to believe it. Then Grandma pushed the sealed envelope toward him. Now, she said, you can open it. Tariq's hands hovered above the envelope. He looked at Grandma, then at Nia. Nia didn't nod. She didn't smile. She just watched. Tariq tore the envelope carefully, like it might cut him. Inside was a letter and one drawing. He unfolded the drawing first. 3 stick figures. One was Grandma, one was Nia. The third was supposed to be him, but the hand was missing. A small arrow pointed to it. Daddy's hand, the label said. Tariq's chest rose fast. His eyes filled so quickly it shocked even him. He opened the letter. It wasn't long. Grandma's handwriting was neat and firm. It didn't call him names. It didn't beg. It simply told the truth. What they ate, what they lacked, how Nia asked for him. How Grandma refused to let shame break their home, and how the building was being treated unfairly with water and fees. At the bottom, Grandma wrote one last line. Love that doesn't show up is only a word. Tariq's lips trembled. He stared at the table, at the bottle, at the notebook, at the help corner. Then he made a sound like air leaving him all at once. A gasp. His shoulders shook. And finally, as the tears came, not quiet tears, not pretty tears, real tears, the kind that happen when a person sees themselves clearly for the first time. I didn't know, Tariq whispered, voice broken. Grandma didn't comfort him right away. She didn't punish him either. She waited. Tariq looked up at her, eyes wet. Ma, I thought you could handle anything. Grandma's voice stayed gentle but firm. I can handle many things, but you were not supposed to hand me your duty. Tariq turned to Nia. My baby. Nia didn't run to him. She asked one simple question. Are you staying or leaving again? That question hit him harder than the notebook. Tariq wiped his face with his palm. He nodded slowly. I'm staying. Grandma raised her hand. Words are easy, actions are heavy. Tariq swallowed. Oh, tell me what to do. Grandma opened the notebook to a clean page. First, she said, you call the people you borrowed from. Tonight, you don't hide. You apologize. You make a plan to pay. Tariq nodded. Yes. Second, Grandma said, you speak to Officer Lena with me. You hear what is happening in this building. You stop acting like other people's problems are not yours. Tariq nodded again, faster. Yes. Third, Grandma said, and her eyes softened just a little. You earn your daughter's trust. You don't buy it with gifts. You earn it by showing up. Tariq looked at Nia. His voice was quiet. "I'm sorry." Nia stared at him for a long moment. Then she did something small. She slid her notebook across the table toward him. Not as a prize, as a chance. Tarek looked down at it like it was the most important thing he had ever been given. He nodded, tears still on his cheeks. "I'll do better," he whispered. "I promise." Grandma Amara stood up and blew out one candle, leaving one still burning. "One light is enough," she said, "as long as it is real." That night, for the first time in a long time, the home did not feel like it was waiting to break. It felt like it was finally ready to heal.